Good morning, Daily Dose of Danny followers. I have a list today. It was necessary. My mind isn't what it used to be, or it just isn't, period. I read 4 articles this morning about the surge that's going on in Texas, Arizona, North Carolina, because they opened early. And the surge of cases and ICUs being overflowing in Arizona, where I'm about to send my baby to college. So figure your shit out, people. Is the surge because people had Memorial Day parties and Mother's Day parties and they just fucking threw caution to the wind and didn't care who they were around or what happened? I don't know. Is the surge from the protests that happened in all of these states with marchers not wearing masks and people in close quarters shouting and singing, dancing, all these things that are dangerous if there really is a pandemic going on? Lola's barking, it's bugging me. Lola, quit it. So we don't know why the surge happened, but it's happening. And of course there's more testing, so that could be part of it too. There's so many things that play into it, but it's frightening. And there's a lot being, look at this thing on my wrist. So yesterday I went to get a steak out of the freezer because Boyd was going to barbecue a steak for him and the girls, for the girls and for him, for them. Anyways, and it was kind of stuck to the meat that was underneath it, so I went to pull it up like that and I hit the top shelf. Bruise. Just call me Granny. It's just, oh my God, it's so frustrating. Okay, I read a interview this morning from Janet Napolitano, who used to be the I was going to say Surgeon General, that's not it. She used to be the head person in Arizona. Then she was, head of Homeland Security, and now she's the president of the UC system. It was really interesting. She's retiring. That's why she had an interview. And she was saying that the UCs are not going to do what the CSUs are doing. So if you're going to a UC, you are going to live in the dorms and you are going to have in-person classes. There's going to be a mix. They're going to be careful, but it's not statewide, no classes for Californians. So that's encouraging for all the kids going to the UCs. It's upsetting for the people going to CSU, but, it's a big iceberg we got to chip away at. So a lot in the news about Breonna Taylor, the girl in Louisville, the young woman in Louisville who was killed by the police. And, I'm going to be honest, I didn't 100% know the story. So what did I do? I read about it. That's how you get information. And she's a 24-year-old black woman who was in her apartment, and the police came with a no-knock search warrant, and they, busted into her apartment. Her boyfriend was there, and he thought there was intruders, so he shot his gun at the intruders, quote unquote. They were plainclothes. They weren't dressed in police uniform, plainclothes officers. Hit one of the officers, so they started shooting back, and they shot her something like 9 times. There's so much to unpack here, but let's just start with, why would you issue a no-knock search warrant in plain clothes? It's wrong. And with card-carrying gun toters in this world of every color, you got to figure that it's possible that the people inside this apartment could have guns for their own protection or for whatever. They say it was a suspected drug situation. So, this is going to end badly. It's just written out that it's going to end badly. It's a no-knock search warrant. You bust in, the boyfriend shoots, shot him in the leg or something. Didn't hurt. It hurt him, but do you know what I mean? Didn't kill him. So they just fucking opened fire like it was a war. And they killed her. And then they just kind of went, oh, whoops, shit happens. And they released their reports, because police have to fill out reports when something like this happens, and it's literally empty. It has no freaking information on it at all. So people are pissed in Kentucky, in Louisville, as they should be. This is fucking bullshit. And yes, I understand how the system works. I watch enough Law and Order to know what the fuck's up. But I'm just telling you right now, this is part of the systemic, injustice in policing that needs to be really carefully looked at. It needs to be changed, and there needs to be oversight, and there isn't. So that's a shit show, and that's why you're seeing signs for Breonna Taylor. So NASCAR made an announcement they'll no longer allow Confederate flags at the races, and some white people lost their ever fucking loving minds over this. Like, they're so mad because if they can't have their Confederate flag, like, they're gonna not go to NASCAR. Guess what? You're not fucking going to NASCAR anyways because they're without audiences. So you're not going to NASCAR. So you don't need your Confederate flag. And if that is your thing that you want to hang your hat on, go ahead. They probably don't want you in the audience anyways. So NASCAR is really speaking out in a way that they never have, which that's monumental and important. But it just, to me, it's like, really? That's going to piss you off? So there's a thing about Iceland and how they beat coronavirus, and they didn't social distance or anything. And I said to myself, before I do my daily dose, I got to read up on that. But I tried to go read up on it, but it's in the New York Times, and you got to subscribe. It's a whole thing. So I was going to do my own research, but I didn't. So do your own research, or I'll do it and post it on Facebook. You know how I do. Okay, so yesterday I get a phone call in the afternoon, and I sort of recognized the phone number, but not really. And I was kind of like, what is it? It was at like 4:30. So I answered the phone, and it was the pulmonologist's office. Not my pulmonologist, but another one, a person that I was supposed to see, but she wasn't seeing patients in real life. So I went to another guy who was seeing patients so I could really get a workup and look at. She's like, is it a good time to talk? You never like it when they say that. I go, yeah, sure. She's like, okay, so we got your CT results. I want to go over them with you. Lungs look, good, essentially good. There's no ground glass syndrome anymore. There's no fluid. There's a lot of scarring in the lungs, but that's probably just from repeated bouts of pneumonia. That shouldn't really affect you too much. And of course, while she's talking to me, I'm coughing because that's the thing I do. Actually, I was lying down before she coughed, so I sat up, and then before she called, and then not before she coughed, before she called, and then I started coughing. And she goes, and I haven't seen you in person, but based on what I'm hearing, you have asthma. That's what you have. You have asthma. That sounds asthmatic. So just keep using your inhaler. She goes, but that's not why I'm calling you. Dun, 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 dun. The background music starts playing this ominous sound. I'm calling you because some things showed up on the CT that's really not in our wheelhouse. We don't know what to do with this. So you have two compression fractures in your thoracic spine. And that's probably what's causing all your back pain. I didn't say a word. She goes, Danny, are you still there? Yeah, I'm still here. She goes, so we don't know why this was not on your CT in March. So it's happened since March. Have you had a fall? No, I haven't had a fall. Because that's usually what causes the fractures like we're seeing is from a fall. No, I haven't had a fall. She's like, so we're going to send the results to your primary care physician. You need to call him immediately and see what he wants to do about it. Okay, good talk. Thanks for calling. So I called my husband because that's the first thing I do. And he's like, okay, you need to call Dr. Eichbaum, the guy that actually saved my life and did the whole neck surgery and everything. So I text him and I tell him the whole deal. And he's like, I need to see them. Get me the CDs. I need to take a look at that. I'll get back to you, let you know what has to happen or needs to happen or should happen. So I called this morning and she's like, oh my God, I love Dr. Eichbaum. I'm so sad that he's gone. I know how to get in touch with him. I'll send him the CD. She was amazing. So he's going to look at it and we'll see what happens. And then I was texting with my sisters this morning. Have you ever heard someone cough like me all the time? Now I'm going to sneeze. I'm not going to sneeze. I'm going to fight it off. I'm lying. I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not. Okay, anyways. Yes, I am. So I talked to my sister this morning, and she said that when I broke my neck 11 years ago, and I had the surgery, so it's occipital plate, C1 to C5 is all fused with metal and screws and all kinds of crazy shit. that Dr. Eichbaum said, that because your neck is stable and fused, it puts pressure on the rest of the spine, and potentially in Danny's lifetime, she's going to have more surgery. You hear that, you go, okay, yeah, great, thanks. Informational gathering, information I'm not going to listen to or think about, which is how I live my life. So here we are, 11 years later, and I got 2 fractured discs. So, whatever. I mean, I don't even know what to make of it. I know that my back hurts like crazy, and I was convinced it was my upper lungs, that I was dying of fucking lung something. So at least I have validation that my back hurts for a reason. It's almost impossible to sleep. I can't lie flat on my back. It's really stressful. But whatever, at least I can justify it. We'll wait and see what Dr. Eichbaum says, and we'll go from there. So the blood work fiasco. They couldn't get enough blood to do all the tests. But I went on my record, how you have your online health record, yesterday, and they did 3 tests. They were all like iron studies, like how iron is working in my blood. And I was all great. I mean, all my levels were way up from when I was in the hospital, like monumentally up, like crazy up. So it's got to be that great diet I'm eating. Although I haven't really changed my diet, but whatever. So all that's up. So I'm not sick anymore. I feel so good. I'm swimming and working out with Daniel, and just really, I feel good. I mean, the mornings I'm a little, stiff and stuff. My back does hurt, but do you know what I mean? Like, I feel really healthy. So I'm not going to let any of that get me down. I'm going to go get the rest of the blood work today, because fuck it, I've been drinking water like a goddamn camel for the last few days. So I'm hydrated, so they can figure it out. So through all this, I talked to my physical therapist, because last week we didn't do therapy because I was really coughing and they suspected I had bronchitis. Even gave me a prescription, like a Z-Pak, which I didn't take. I'm glad I didn't take it because I don't have bronchitis. So he's like, I don't want to see you, obviously, because they're seeing people. So I talked to him, told him about the compression fractures. He's like, wow, that's crazy. So I'm going to go see him on Friday and let him have a look-see at my body and how I'm doing from the stroke and all that razzmatazz. Blah, blah, blah. Enough about me. I talked about Killer Mike's speech yesterday, trying to remember the things, so I rewatched it and posted it on Facebook because I like to be exact. So here's his recipe for change. We have to plot. We have to plan. We have to strategize, organize, and mobilize. Plot, plan, strategize, organize, mobilize. These are important steps. And he really hammered that home. It was voting day in a few states. I wrote on here, fuck you, Georgia, because Georgia, the motherfucking state of Georgia, has just, obliterated voting rights. They purged people from the polls. People stood in line for over 6 hours. They sent out mail-in ballots, but they sealed the return envelopes. And you can't break that seal. That's, fraud. So people who got mail-in ballots actually had to hand deliver them. That state's one fucked up fucking state. They'll do anything to suppress the black vote. And I say fuck you. And I hope you like it. Then I heard that our stupid punk-ass president is going to Texas, going to Dallas, going to give a big speech and fucking whatever the fuck he's doing. But I also heard that the PGA Tour is going to do a PGA thing, whatever. They're going to play golf. Guess where it is? 3 guesses. First 2 don't count. Fucking Texas. Does anyone think it's a coincidence? Somebody told me it's not a goddamn coincidence, that this is a planned event. Even though there's be no spectators, that wobbling fuck face is going to be there. Because, golf is like his whatever. So my girls had a book that they got from their Aunt Pam, and it burned in the fire. And it was just one of those books. She loves to give them devotionals, which is so great. This one I really loved. I actually wrote a blog about it a long time ago. It's called 365 Days to Knowing God for Girls. It's a year-long devotional. It has been written especially for girls who want to get to know God better. Each devotional ends with a challenge point that gives you something to do or think about throughout the day. So I used to read this to the girls at night before bed. We'd read from our Knowing God for Girls devotional. So I just want to, I'm not going to read you it, but yesterday, June 10th, was yesterday June 10th? Well, whatever June 10th was. this was the devotional. It was called Knowing God by Suppressing Our Pride. Always be humble and gentle. Be patient with each other, making allowance for each other's faults because of your love. That's Ephesians 4:2. Simple little verse contains 4 of the most difficult ways of living with others. Be humble. Life isn't all about you. It's about God, then others, then you. Be gentle. Don't push other people around to get them to do what you want. Be patient. Things don't always have to go your way. Interesting. Make allowances for others' faults. Everyone messes up sometimes, even you. Rarely, but it happens. Don't scream about others' faults and brush your own aside. Why do all of this? Yep, love. God's love overflowing through you to others. Here's your challenge point. No one said these things would be easy, but they're important. You read often about them in the Bible. Living these ways are how you show God's love to others. If you can be humble, gentle, patient, and make allowances, it shows that you understand that life isn't all about you. But it is all about my cough. So that was a good one on the 10th. I think it's the 12th. So anyways, she found it. She reordered it. The one we had was big. It was hardback. It was amazing. But I like this one too. And I'm going to keep it on my desk and I'm going to read it. So Leah got some graduation money, some in cash, some in checks. So we had a teachable moment this morning where I showed her how to endorse the back of a check. And we deposited the money in the bank. And she had to sign her name and put the account number, right, for mobile deposit only, take pictures of the front and the back, It was good. I'm glad we had that moment. So yeah, I'm, kind of emotional about my CT results, super emotional about the world we're living in right now. My sister, who's just, brave. And she lives in Oceanside, in a primarily white, over 55 community, and she wrote on her driveway, Black Lives Matter, in big writing, beautiful printing. And I'm so proud of her. I have a big driveway. I feel like I could paint it yellow like they did in front of the White House. That'd go over like a fart in church. There's no one to see it, though. People do drive down my cul-de-sac, but that's the look of my house. They don't stop and stare or take note. So that'd be weird. So anyways, I'm still just trying to be informed, be involved, be supportive, not be an asshole. There are things I'm working on. And I think about all you guys every day and what you're going through. My friends just had to put their dog down, 15 and a half years with this beautiful dog. So Fletch is now in doggy heaven. It's really a sad loss. And I said to Boyd, somewhat seriously, but why even get a dog? You know it's going to die. I know that sounds harsh and horrible, but those losses, when you have to put a pet down, it's unreal how it makes you feel, like the feelings that you go through. And in that moment when you're doing that and you think about all the great memories that you had with this pet, but then the pet's gone, do you know what I mean? Like, it's going to happen, and they don't live that long. Pets don't live that long. Fucking mean-ass motherfucking pedophiles sit in prison for 6 decades. They never fucking die. Mean people don't die. But pets, loving, unconditional loving pets, they die. And it's never easy. And it's never like, oh, had to put my dog down yesterday, la, la, la. It's always horrible. And I just feel for them so much because it's really, really sad. I'll bring the shots. They're actually going to come over for dinner tonight. We're not going to do shots because that'd be weird. It's freaking Thursday. But we'll definitely have a cocktail. At least one. Okay, so that's all I have to say. Got a little skib on my arm. Well, at least that one can be removed, not like the other ones. Okay, I'm going to go help Leah get organized. She has to take some placement tests for college. We have her orientation on Juneteenth, the 19th. And that's going to happen. Arizona, here we come. All right, love you all. Talk to you later. Bye.